Hello, ladies, gents. Alrighty, we are taking up, the homework is on 472. The lesson probably says 471, odds for and against. And this was the last lesson in the probability unit, which means, yes, some review and then a test. So 1A asks for odds in favor of getting something larger than 1 when you roll a dice. So again, odds in favor. There's no total possible. Same with odds against, no total possible. It's just these are all of the outcomes right here, the favorable ones and the unfavorable ones. So when we roll a dice, there's 6 outcomes. So odds in favor of getting something bigger than a 1, well, there's 5 numbers bigger than a 1, and then one number that's not larger than 1. Okay. B said getting a 2 when you pick something randomly from a deck of cards. Okay, so again, deck of cards has 52 cards in it. So there is a 2 in each of the suits, and 4 suits, clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades, which means you have 4 2s. So those are your favorable outcomes. Unfavorable would be the rest of the 52 that aren't 2s, which would be 48. And we can put that in lowest terms by dividing by 4, so 1 to 12. Okay. C asked for getting a sum of 7 when you roll 2 dice and add them together. So to figure out how many you've had, a little chart like this to figure out 1, how many outcomes there are, 2, how many of those outcomes are 7 is very handy. Okay, so you could have done a tree diagram for this, but this tends to be a little bit smaller. It's basically the same thing as a tree diagram, so it's showing every possible outcome if you get a 1, every possible outcome if you get a 2, 3, so on and so forth. Okay, so when we're all done, we see that we get a 6 by 6 area of sums, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7s. So that means we have 36 outcomes and 6 of them are favorable. So odds unfavorable, favorable outcomes over unfavorable. So we just said we have 6 favorable outcomes. For unfavorable, we have to remove those from the total, which leaves us with 30 favorable. And then we can also put that in lowest terms by dividing them both by 6 for 1 to 5. Number 5 said Sarah had 5 toonies, 8 loonies, 7 dimes, and 3 quarters in her piggy bank, and they wanted to know odds in favor and odds against certain things happening. So first thing was I added all of these up to get 23 outcomes because I need to know the total number of outcomes. So they said, first thing, odds in favor of a dime. Okay, well, there's 7 dimes, so that's our favorable outcome. How many unfavorable? We need all of the outcomes with this except for those 7. So it's 23 subtract 7 for unfavorable outcomes, and that's where we get 16. So please watch out for that on a test. Once they start getting to odds, you'd be very tempted to put in the total possible here, like you did with probability. You have to subtract the favorable outcomes, or in this case, the unfavorable outcomes if they're asking for odds against. So B was asking odds against a quarter. So unfavorable over favorable. So first, how many quarters? 3 of them. So that's our favorable. And then we remove the 3 from the total to get unfavorable, and that gives us a 20. I did ask for number 6 to be handed in, so I'm not going to take you through it because I don't want you just copying my work and giving it back to me. But it did ask for one of the things that I mentioned, they love doing and that you should expect to see in your test, where you're given something in probability and asked to switch it to odds in favor, or vice versa. They could give you something with odds and ask you to put it into probability. But it's okay. You can do that because you know the formulas. So probability is your favorable outcomes over the total possible outcomes, and odds in favor, favorable over unfavorable. So how to go about this? This is the key. Remembering that if you add the favorable and the unfavorable, you get the total possible. So this plus this equals this one here. Okay? So she did say probability that David will be in the first in the 50-meter backstroke is 25%. So make this a fraction that will come out to 25%. And then convert that fraction into odds. Right? Hopefully that helps you out if you were a little bit stuck on that one. Okay. So we're going to be working on some of the review, and then we'll be looking at a test sometime next week. All right. Bye for now.